All right, so we're going to, you guys want to look at depression uh, and whether or not you have depression and how that affects your pupil size. Um, and then also social anxiety. You wanted to look at that as a like a dimensional variable. So looking at just a correlation basically. And I think those are two good questions to look at. So I'll show you guys how I would begin to approach that and hopefully get you started so that you can do it. So the first thing I would probably do, is I would open up the correct data spreadsheet, which that was not it. Where does it live? I think it's in a folder. All right. Oh, actually, probably I should. It's probably not where it lives, is it? I think Abby sent me an email, maybe. And did I save it in the Lauren letter? Most of research is just trying to find files. Oh, Lauren letter, there she is. Okay, maybe this. Is this the one that I did with you guys? Oh no, these are okay. Okay, yeah, this is that stuff. So yeah, this is what Abby sent to me. Okay, so we have nicely labeled stuff here. So let's just orient. So the average size for women's stimuli, average size for man stimuli, how big the pupil was, average size of the pupil in general, which is just the average of those two. So this one's a formula. This I have nothing. I guess this is probably the difference between man and woman. I was interested in this myself, so I looked at it because evolutionarily, I think this is interesting to me. The notion of what social anxiety is. If you've thought about that, you might think of social anxiety as, or anxiety in general as, oh, I have anxiety, or this person has anxiety, and oh my gosh, it sucks, and that's true. It does. Anxiety creates a lot of misery for human beings, but why do so many people have anxiety? That's I think that's because anxiety is also a very useful thing for our species, survival and thriving even. So it causes suffering, but it's something that exists on a spectrum in human beings, and some people have more, some people have less. I definitely wouldn't want to be one of the people that has no social anxiety, for example, because then I wouldn't care what other people thought about me, and I'd probably just be a jerk, and no one would like me. So you want to have some concern of what other people think, but you don't have so much that it's crippling. And people are, it's like height. Some people have a lot of height, some people have a little bit of height, and most people are somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of how it is with social anxiety. But if you think about evolutionarily, if you think that this is a trait that has been conserved in our species to have some social anxiety, why is that, and what does that do to us? What tendencies does it create? I think that it would make sense that for males at least, another male is a threatening stimulus. It could be someone I have to fight, or who's going to beat me up and tell me to leave the pack. You think of other animal species, and that's sometimes how it works. Males are in competition and stuff, and a female is not threatening for a male. Of course, in real life, in human society, a female could be threatening for a male. A female could be your boss, or a female could be a friend or someone who's part of your social group who could reject you and exert power over you. So it's not exactly like it is for other animals, but in any case, I think there's still interesting reasons to think that, at least for a male subject, male face stimuli would be more threatening than female face stimuli, to the extent that we're sort of borrowing mechanisms from other species and stuff, or sharing them with other species that have been conserved over millions of years of evolution of mammals. So that's why I looked at the difference between pupil size for when you're looking at males and pupil size when you're looking at females. I think I found that the average. Oh, I looked at this. Yeah, the average is approximately zero. There is approximately zero difference between looking at men and looking at women. So at least as far as our pupils are concerned, they're not revealing much of a difference. But that was my thought anyway. If you're really interested in the evolution stuff, you can still make a poster on that little conversation I just had with myself and you guys at a later time, even though it'll be a null result probably. But anyway, so you guys wanted to look at depression. So here we are. Here's the depression variable, I think. Is it? Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah. All right, so I'm looking at this and I'm making sense of it, I think. So this is major depressive disorder current. So column BP here is whether you have a current diagnosis of major depressive disorder. Now, how is this different than this DEP variable at the end? This is whether you have depression or not, right? I'm pretty sure that is what it is. And so how is this variable different? So for example, we have, if we look at the first 10 or so, we have 3 zeros a 1, 3 zeros a 1, and then 0, 1, 0 for the depression. And is that how it is for major depressive disorder? No, there's one that's different. This one doesn't have major depression, but it is depressed. So how is that the case? Well, there's more than one diagnosis of depression in the DSM. There's major depressive disorder is sort of the hallmark depressive disorder, but there's also a more mild one called persistent depressive disorder, and that's basically what they used to call dysthymia. It's where you're kind of chronically depressed for a period of like 2 years, not necessarily every day, but more days than not, you kind of are mildly depressed. So that's what this person here has. So what we're doing is in this variable here, CG, is we're lumping all those people together. So if you guys wanted to look at this was a little exploration I was doing for my own curiosity. So I'll get rid of that for now. If you guys wanted to look at depression, here's what I would do. I would grab all your data. This stuff at the bottom is summary stuff, so don't grab that. Go all the way over, select all your data. So that's 102 columns, actually. It's a ton of columns. And only 45 rows. And then I'll go data sort. And we're going to sort it by what are we going to sort it by? The depression variable. I forget what column that is. CG. Now let's take a look. So we have 24 that are not depressed, and 20 that are depressed. We're missing 2. See, missing pupil data for 2 of these people. How many are we missing for the other? We're missing 3. So we have pretty even groups, actually. It's kind of nice. 24 minus 3 is 21. 20 minus 2 is 18. So 21 and 18. All right. Or maybe I miscounted because this says 19. In any case. So this is kind of nice. I've already got it here. That just to look at the means, you can look and say, okay, what things were you interested in? You wanted to look at the total size in the different emotions, so that would be here. So this one's different than this one, but the t-test value is not significant. These are the t-tests that we ran. Now I don't know if it's probably selecting the correct. Yeah, it's not selecting the right group. So this is. Let's delete this. You guys probably remember how to run a t-test in SPSS. So you can do that if you have SPSS. If not, we can do it together maybe. But the main thing, the more important thing than running statistics is looking at graphs, or at least just looking at the means and the standard deviations and standard errors, and getting a sense of what you think the truth is in your gut or in your brain. Statistics are highly overrated, even though you spent a long time learning them, an entire semester. But statistics eventually should become redundant with your gut and what you make of graphs and stuff. So anyway, I don't know what to tell you guys. So I would say sort like I just did, and then you're going to generate, you're going to take the mean of all the depressed people. So you're going to just find a cell in Excel somewhere and say equals average, and you're going to select, all the depressed people for whatever variable it is that you're interested in, equals average, and then you're going to take the standard deviation of that same sample, and then you'll do the same thing for the people who are depressed. Sorry, those the people who weren't depressed at the top I just did. And you'll take the standard deviation of that, and then you can take the standard error as well if you want. I recommend that. And the way I try to understand truth generally with these things, this first type of question you guys asked, which is, are depressed people different from non-depressed people? Sort of pretending that depression is a binary variable, which it's not. But to make matters simple, sometimes it's good to pretend that, just to get a rough understanding of things. So yeah, you just split the sample into depressed and non-depressed, and then you take the average of the depressed and the average of the non-depressed, and the standard error of both. So that's actually what I've done here at the bottom. You guys can reuse my formulas. The problem with my formulas now is they're not selecting the right number of people. So I have through CN through CN2 through CN23. Now, if you'll notice, it should go to 25. See this right here where my cursor is? The 25th row is where it stops being non-depressed. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to change that here through CN through 25. Okay? And I'm going to change that for all my little formulas. This is the standard error of the same sample. This is counting the same sample. This is... Okay, this one actually doesn't have to change, because this is just referring to the cell above it, the two cells above it, which are the standard error and the n. So then once I've done that, waka waka, I just paste that over. I Control C, I grab these four, Control C, and then I select all the rest of the cells, Control V, I paste. And now look at the, this one is referring all the way to cell 20, row 25, which is what it should be doing. So I have these lovely means for the non-depressed group. Now I just need to do it for the depressed group. And that goes from 24 to 25. It doesn't want to do that because I just went through 25 is the non-depressed group. I want to start on 26. So I just need to change my 24 to 26. And now it should still go to 45 because the last subject is still the last subject, even though I've sorted it and shuffled down, changed where it should start. Okay, it sounds like I have someone at my door. I'm getting solar installed. I'm going to have to pause this video.